Traders, welcome to the live stream. Welcome to Simply Forex. How are you? Hope you're all well. Trader Tom here, and we are going to do several things in today's live stream. I know, very exciting. We are going to do, firstly, I'm going to show you a trade I got in today. I'm also going to explain to you how, this month has been a difficult trading month, and sort of how, I'm feeling about it and how to sort of overcome it, right? So just to be totally transparent, it's been a difficult week, right? The month was about break even, but this week we've just had a few trades go against us. It's because of that bloody Trump when he opens his mouth. So yeah, we're just going to sort of discuss the psychology of that, guys. And obviously we're going to take as many of your questions as we can, right? This is the reason you're here. Ask me as many questions as you like. I've been trading a bloody long time now. I've made every mistake. I've tried every strategy. You name it, I've done it. I've got the t-shirt. So, don't be afraid to ask me anything you like about trading. So yeah, get your questions through to me, guys. And also on the economic calendar, we don't have any news coming out during the live stream, but just to make you guys aware, right? We have a slew, word of the day, we have a slew of economic data coming out for the US. Just look at that at 1:30, right? There's more news there than the BBC. But after that as well, guys, we've also got Chicago PMI. We've got crude oil inventories down here as well. It's a big day for the dollar and crude there as well, right? So must be aware of that later. Also going to show you a trade that I'm in, right? So let's start there. I'm going to show you a trade that I have taken and the reasons I've taken it, okay? Now, if we drop to the day chart, I consider this still to be in an uptrend, right? If we look at the daily chart, this is where we're at, okay? I still consider this to be an uptrend. We've got higher highs, this could be the new potential higher low, right? But we're in an uptrend. And if you look at the weekly chart as well, guys, right, we're just at this level on oil. Just look at this level on oil, right? That has been holding for as long as Chuck Norris has been bullet hard, right? So even if I drag it across, just look at that price, guys. That has been holding for literally years. Okay, so there's no surprise that we had this big bullish reaction last week at that level. So with this big bullish reaction and that daily trend that I consider to be an uptrend, I was looking to buy this, right? Now, if we look at the H4, you're probably thinking, Tom, you're a bloody maniac, right? And I would, H4 is in a downtrend, okay? But what I've done, guys, is tried a more aggressive trade, because what's been happening with my trading, okay? And now, I always say don't change things when times are hard, and I'm not. What I'm doing is still based on price action. I'm still using the weekly and daily to give me my direction, and the majority of the time I've been trading on the H4, right? But now and again I will take a trade on the H1. Now, trading on the H1 is obviously a bit more aggressive and gets you in at an earlier price, but because of that, price has less distance to travel, right? If I'm, if we're trading H4, for example, right? And, I start, entering in here or something, put my stop above here for sells, okay? I could be waiting a long time for price to get back down to here. Now, remember, I like buy trades on oil. So if we drop to the H1, all I've done is a H1 structure break, which is what this is. That high has been broken with these candles. And therefore, this is now the low. Okay, so I am in this trade. As soon as we broke this high, I started buying this pair here, maybe a little bit lower, got a bit better price. I've put my stop below this swing low. And the idea is just to take price back up to this level, which is that last H4 area of resistance here. So this is where I find myself, guys, all right? You know, you can see price is a little bit indecisive here, but, you know, every time price pops down, we are seeing buyers. So I'm sticking with this trade, and the idea is to take oil back up to here. So there you go, guys. That's the only trade that I am in, because this week I was stopped out of pound Canadian dollar. I was stopped out of US dollar Swiss franc. And I was also stopped out of an oil trade. Okay, so like I say, it's been a difficult week and a tricky month, right? You know, Trump probably has a lot to do with that, right? Him coming in, a lot of indecision in the market. And you can feel that indecision in the market. You really can. And we're going to look at a few things that don't make sense in the market. Okay, we're going to take a look at that. Before we do, let's say hello to a few people. And also, guys, I have to leave at 4:30 today because I have got a hot date with the missus. And I cannot be late, otherwise she will cut my toenails off. Right, Hamid, how are you, mate? Brett, afternoon, how are you? Heath, you are on time again. Heath, there'll be, you know, there's going to be like medals given out soon for being on time. Himanshu wants to look at Euro New Zealand longs. Okay, we'll take a look at that, Himanshu. CJ, October and November have been tricky. They have been tricky little sausages. And now we have unemployment claims too. Cheers for the vids, Tom. Yeah, you're welcome, CJ. I hope they help. You know, when I'm making them vids, there's almost more intricacies I wish I say during the vid, but I try to convey as much as I can. There's so many intricacies when you're managing a trade, but I hope you get the gist. Offman, how are you? Himanshu, I hear you. Heath says, thank you, Sensei. Konnichiwa, I think that's correct in Sensei talk. Right, now let's start with all of this tomfoolery that's going on in the markets, right? Because the NASDAQ, right, is the indices are flying, right? They are, right? They're all okay. I'm interested in New Zealand yen sales. Let's take a quick look at that first, guys, before we... Okay, so we've got another hour, but I would be interested in selling New Zealand yen, right? If we get a break of this level, this is the H1 chart, and we get a nice big bearish candle, that is a confirmation of the downtrend, because this level here has been holding. And then if we do, I may start selling, put my stop loss above here, okay? Because I still think this has enough room to move into, you know, potentially down to this area here. So maybe around this 88.50 level. Yeah, but it has room, right? It's got a bit of free room here. So yeah, interested in New Zealand dollar yens if we get a break of these lows here that have been holding. All right, so just to let you know. Let's go back to what I was saying. Right now, you know, if you look at, let's look at the weekly, let's look at the bigger pictures, right? Indices, right, bloody flying, right, or bullish, let's say, right? They're bullish, nothing but uptrends, bullish candles, right? We did get a bearish candle. Let's look at the S&P, right? Nothing but bullish, right? Totally bullish, even had a jump up today, right? Bullish, 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 okay? Now, normally when we see this bullish indices, and and the economy's looking good, and again, you can't help but think there's a bit of the Trump effect, and I don't know what Americans call the finance minister. What do they call it? But anyway, the new finance minister is proper hedge fund guy, very pro Wall Street, right? So all of this news is good for this. Okay. Now, if you look at the flight to safety pairs, okay. Now, if generally speaking, if this is strong, right, then yen is weak. Okay, right? If this indices are strong, yen is weak. Okay, and gold is weak. Okay, but we're not seeing that. Okay, if we look at any yen pair, New Zealand yen, we were just looking at, look at these yen pairs, right? They are totally breaking down. Okay, so yen is strong. And if you look at gold as well, right? Gold, let's look at the weekly chart. Like I say, let's look at the bigger picture. Gold is strong as well. So all these flight to safety currencies and commodities, do they know something that we don't? Right? Because the indices are all flying, and all the new, cabinet, that's not what they use either in America, but the new people Trump's getting around them are all pro-business. But maybe the markets are seeing something else, and there's this confusion between risk on and risk off, right? I did talk about it in a previous vid, and that is what's leading to volatility and tricky markets, right? It is. And also Trump just coming out and saying, right, I'm going to put some tariffs on CAD and Mexico unless they sort their borders out, right? That is making things volatile, right? We've probably got 4 years of this, which is, I don't want volatility. I want a nice, if I'm buying the chart, I just want the trend to carry on in an uptrend, no volatility, and we hit target. I don't want these big spikes, but might have to get used to it. And there's been, I've gone very macroeconomic, geopolitical, but there's been a ceasefire in the Middle East as well. So this might explain, some of this. But so that wouldn't explain some of this yen strength, right? If things are bad, yen gathers strength, right? But it's looking good, right? That you got all indices at all-time highs. The Middle East, we seem to have a bit of a ceasefire, right? So there's such mixed, contradictory things happening. All right, and that is obviously going to play into the markets and make them trickier to trade, right? Because if there is indecision, you've got lots of buyers and sellers, right? And buyers can push it one way, and then sellers bring it back down, and sellers bring it one way, buyers can push it back up. I hope you can see my hands. It's only a small screen, but there you go. So yeah, that is why the markets are tricky, guys. All right. And I just wanted to kind of share that with you. But now let's look at some bloody trades. Enough of my jibber jabber. Before we do, guys, if you enjoy the live stream, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash the like button. Also, guys, today's live stream is sponsored by Blueberry Funded. You can see above my head. So if you want to increase capital, take on a funded challenge, then look no further than Blueberry Funded. We can get you 25% off right now if you use the code simply25 at checkout. And guys, please don't forget to join our trading community, right? We've got a free Discord channel. It's totally free. I put all of my trade ideas in there. We talk about psychology in there. There's other things. Come join it. Right, what else are we looking at? So Euro New Zealand dollars. So Himanshu's asking, is it a good time to long Euro New Zealand dollar? Himanshu, let's take a look at that question. This is, I know without even looking at the daily, this is a tricky market because we're in a daily downtrend and a weekly uptrend, right? Because again, all of you traders out there need to understand the structure of the market. And the structure just means, you know, connect the dots with the highs and lows, right? And this is where we are on the weekly chart. Higher highs, higher lows, potentially higher lows, right? And therefore, the structure dictates trend. And the trend is in an uptrend, right? It is. And we have, you know, these wicks here holding on to this level. But, you know, this candle's tricky. You've got a very large top wick and a large bottom wick, right? There's a bit of indecision there, okay? But from a structural point of view, I totally understand buying Euro New Zealand dollar from here back up to here, right? Makes total sense on the weekly. Now, what I'd like to see is the daily support this view, and I know it doesn't, right? If we look at the day chart, this is in a downtrend, if not a bit of a range at the moment, right? And that big weekly candle of indecision is reflected here. This is what you're seeing. You're seeing a range between here and here. That indecision continues on the day chart. So this is a downtrend for me. So what would make more sense is sells back down to here, right? And as you can see, that would have been a good trade today. Okay. But I don't want to sell into that level, right? And then, you know, do you want to buy from this level back up to here? Yeah, okay, potentially, but I'm seeing a downtrend stroke range. So sells from here make more sense than buys from down here, right? But if we traded just the range, okay, and just looked at the very short-term structure that it's in, then okay, we could buy this up to here, right? Let's say this is our trade idea and this is what we wanted to do. Now, what do we need to see, right? First of all, let's take a look at the H4. Now, that H4 chart is clearly in a downtrend. And it was in a downtrend until we hit support. Wow, what a coincidence. That was sarcasm if you didn't understand the tone. Just, if you're selling that market, this has to be your target. If you're buying this market, this has to be your target, right? Don't be too tricky. Just keep it as simple as that, right? Now, on the H4, there is no trade, right? If you want to buy this market back up to here. And I would aim for this 18,000 psychological level. That would make sense. So H4 is off limits. But if we look at the H1, right? H1 is also tricky, guys, right? You know, could you say that that is a structure break already? I'd say that's a little tricky to say that. It's not clean cut enough for me, right? These levels are not clean cut enough, right? It's not clear cut. So I would say H1, you know, needs to do something like this, right? We're in this downtrend. I would need to see H1 maybe do something like this, right? And then we get a clear break of a previous high, and then we could consider buying Euro New Zealand dollar. But as the market is right now, yeah, I don't see a buy trade here at the moment. But maybe, you know, it will come about once price action reveals itself a little bit further. If I'm ever in this situation, guys, and price action isn't clear to me, I will just sit on my hands, right? I'll just be like, right, I'm going to wait for something like this to happen. Bang, right? If I want to buy this market. And then once something like this happens, I'll buy, right? But I might have to wait 12 hours for that to happen. So be it. It might be 4 hours. It might, but just wait for that structure break to go into your favor. And at least the structure break on the H1, which is what that would be. All right, guys. So yes, there's Euro New Zealand dollar, Himanshu. I hope that helps. Right, what else are we looking at? Relaxation with Nayenda. I already feel more relaxed, Nayenda. Thank you very much. I feel very zen and chilled, and I need that after this week that I've had. Yen is strong because they are looking to rise interest rates next month. Yeah, okay. So that will also play into yen's strength. But, when they say that, okay, the market is already priced in, right? So if it happens, don't expect a big reaction, right? A lot of these things are priced in. When the Fed have one of their meetings, right, and they say a load of stuff, then everyone's like, right, so that means next month there will be an interest rate increase, right? And the market's already made its move, okay, because it knows that it's going to increase it. And then that's why you get big reactions when they don't increase it, right? That's when the shit hits the fan, because everyone was expecting an increase in the interest rate. So, yeah, okay. But yeah, obviously interest rates play into yen's strength. Interest rates are probably the most powerful thing when it comes to the strength of a currency. Niraj, hi Tom, how are you? Noor, how are you? How's the boat, Noor? Hopefully that's coming along. That joke's getting a bit old, but I'm still going to use it. I enjoy it. Okay, Niraj wants to look at pound Aussie dollar. Shreyash wants to look at silver. Profit pathways wants to look at US dollar yen. Okay, so let's start with pound Aussie dollar, because before I even look at this, I would consider this a sell trade. So every day I have my A1 top-notch trades that I would trade, and I put these trades in the free Discord channel. Please come join it. It's free, right? And then I have my B rating trades. And pound Aussie dollar was a B rated sell trade. Right, now let's understand why. And you can see I had an alarm in here, guys, right? I was looking for a break of structure here, which never happened. Now, if we look at the day chart, right? Yeah, we are clearly in, I'm going to say that's the last high. We are clearly in a downtrend, right? Clearly. So we want to look for sells. Okay, the thing with it is, if we look at the weekly chart, right, has this hit this level? I mean, I could probably even make that touch the bottom of that one, right? I wanted to touch the bottom of this one. So looking at this, has this touched that level? The argument is, the answer is yes, it has. So this is one thing that we need to be wary of, is this weekly level on this trend line. So if we go back to the daily, although I like this for sells, right, I'm very conscious of that. And look at the bulls. Look at the bulls. Look at how bullish this market is since that level. Now, for us to start entering this trade, we have, if you were going to sell it, you would have to see some kind of breakdown, right? Not mental breakdown, although I'm thinking about having one this week. But you would need to see, right, a reaction here, and then potentially a breakdown, or it holds on to this level, right? And we end up getting a breakdown like this, right? So yes, pound Aussie dollar makes sense to sell, but there's nothing on the lower time frames telling us to sell, right? H4, that is definitely not telling us to sell. If we look at H1, that is definitely not telling us to sell, right? We've sort of in this sideways action, right? Bang. So, yeah, I understand Mirage. I would want to sell that because of the daily chart, but it's flying, right? Nothing's telling us to sell. If we go back to the daily chart, this is going to be a pivotal point. Pivotal. Okay. Because why is it so pivotal? Because it's the last high, right? And if price broke through that level, we have had a change of daily structure, right? And that is very powerful. Yeah, we can expect price to go up. So, yeah. And while it's in a downtrend, I'm only looking for sells. Okay, so yeah, but nothing's telling me to sell it. Right, what else are we looking at? Silver. Okay, let's take a quick look at silver, guys, because I do have to shoot off early today. I've got a hot date. Right. Let's remove that. Now, again, just quickly, if you looked at the weekly, you would be saying this is potentially a nice level for buying. And I would totally agree. And last week, we had this nice bullish candle, right? Ignore this candle because it's still forming, right? But last week, we had this bullish candle at a nice area of support in an uptrend. And at the very least, we could expect to get to that level, because this level, when it gets to this level, I'm conscious of a head and shoulders pattern, right? If you don't know what a head and shoulders pattern is, that is a shoulder, that is a shoulder, that is a head, right? And if head and shoulders are listening, yeah, free shampoo for life. So that's what I'm conscious of, and that's why I have my blue line in here. This would be my target, all right? And it's a nice psychological level. Now, weekly still suggests that trade is on, okay? Now, if we go to the day chart now, we thought at this point, this was very likely, right? If you went back in time, got rid of this, all right? If you went back in time, this would be suggesting, okay, right? We broke that high. We're in an uptrend. We're getting higher lows. This would suggest, right, let's get on the silver bandwagon and let's take price up to here. But this has broken down again, right? And I would argue now in a downtrend, right? So I like this level for buys from a weekly point of view, but the daily is still not telling me to buy it, right? So at the very least, I want to see a break of this level, right? We get something like this, we get a break, and then, you know, a retrace, and then I would take price back up to this 32 level in here. All right, guys. So yeah, silver, and this, yeah, again, this is what makes the markets tricky. There's a lot of daily and weekly conflict, right, as well. So always be wary of that and look at multiple time frames to give you this bigger time frame view of the market. Don't get caught up on the H1 or caught up even on the H4. Really look at daily and weekly and get that bigger view, as you just want to be with the bigger view, right? There's more chance of your trade playing out, and there's more chance of your trade running if you leave some profit on. All right, guys. So yeah, that is what I would suggest with silver. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel. smash that notification button and smash the like button. We've got a promotion right now with Blueberry Funded. If you want capital, they'll give you 25% off right now. Use code simply25. And also, please come join our free trading community. We have a free Discord. Come join it. You won't be disappointed. There are some beautiful, wonderful people in there. And on that note, guys, I have got to go on my hot day. Wish me well. Have a great trading day, and I'll see you same time again